Call to order. Good evening and welcome to the Thursday, March 19th, 2026 meeting of the City of Worcester Historical Commission. My name is Erica Hilnarski and I will be chairing tonight's meeting. Before we begin, I have a few brief announcements concerning how our meeting will proceed this evening. Tonight's meeting is a hybrid format, which means that attendees may participate in person, not at City Hall, but here at 25 Mead Street, or remotely. You may log in via computer by going to worcestermass.zoomgov.com/J/160-487-3519 and entering access code 160-487-3519 in the Zoom application, or by calling in at 1-669-254-5252 and entering access code 160-487-3519. To manage remote participation during our hybrid meetings and to prevent disruptions, all participants are automatically blocked from unmuting themselves, turning on their video, and sending chat messages. For remote participants who would like to comment on an item on our agenda, we ask that you use the raise hand feature in Zoom during the discussion of that item. If you are joined by phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9, and staff will then call on members of the public one at a time and give them permission to unmute themselves. You will then be able to unmute yourself by pressing *6. This is a public meeting, which means that it is being recorded and that minutes will be taken and published at a later date. To help with this process, we ask that all speakers participating in person use a microphone and to please clearly identify yourselves each time you speak. The first time you speak, please state your city or town of residence for the record. To help maintain an orderly meeting, please address all comments and questions through the chair, rather than directly to any of the other speakers or applicants. If you are here for an item that will be postponed or continued, please note that no additional notice will be sent to you before the next meeting. You're encouraged to call the planning department the day prior to our next meeting to confirm if the item will be heard or postponed that evening. Once an item is called, there will be a brief presentation followed by any additional comments and clarifications from members of the city staff. Then an opportunity for anyone from the public to speak on that item before we proceed to board discussion and action. Please also note that all approval votes will be by roll call, which will be administered when the time comes. I will now take roll call of commissioners and city staff present this evening. Commissioner Santos Restivo?
Here.
Commissioner Andre?
Here.
Commissioner Burnett?
Here.
Commissioner Forster? Commissioner Gutierrez Lavodi?
Here.
City Staff Michelle Johnstone?
Here.
And Cameron Doyle.
Here.
And through you, Madam Chair, before we go on, we're just having some technical difficulties. We just need a second to try to figure it out.
Our first order of business is for 89 Williams Street, and this is for a leave to withdraw. Is anybody here for that item? No? So we just need to make a motion.
Yep, so through you, Madam Chair, just some background information on that. At the last regularly scheduled meeting, 89 Williams Street was presented as a certificate of non-applicability. So this property is in a local historic district. So the applicant wished to go from asphalt shingle to asphalt shingle. It was a slightly different shingle. So it was approved under certificate of non-applicability. It wasn't exactly the same, but the commission felt it was close enough. So you approved it asphalt for asphalt at the last meeting. At this meeting, just to be safe, we did advertise for a certificate of appropriateness in case it was denied under the certificate of non-applicability. So because it was already approved, you can just call for a motion to withdraw it without prejudice.
Okay, I shall make a motion to withdraw without prejudice. The commission hereby issues a leave to withdraw without prejudice.
I have to do the roll call. So we had a motion and then we had a second. Okay, now on the vote for a leave to withdraw, Commissioner Burnett,
Yes.
Commissioner Gutierrez Lavoti,
Yes.
Commissioner Santos Restivo,
Yes.
Commissioner Andre,
Yes.
and Chair Halnarski.
Yes.
Okay.
Moving on to new business, we have a building demolition delay waiver for 33 Florence Street. Somebody here for that property?
Yes, I am.
You can please come up here to the table.
Do I need this stuff?
I'm not sure.
Hi, my name is Asim. I'm the owner of the property.
Okay, can you just give us a quick rundown of the work that was done? Because I see that this is all for approval of retroactive work.
Correct. So basically the house was going to be torn down when I bought the property. Right around the time when I was buying the property, I was informed that it's a historical house. I didn't know how to go about it. I had a contractor who was helping me with it. The contractor kept saying that he has all the information, all the paperwork is in order. So I continued. But something didn't jive with me because it's a historic house, right? So I kept in touch with Michelle about what kind of windows. She kept saying that I need to go to the Historic Commission. The contractor on the other hand said he has everything all set. So then there was a miscommunication there. So anyways, I did the roof first, and then I got the asbestos removed from the property, which kind of made sense. There are a lot of kids around in the neighborhood. Once that was done, I looked at the siding, it was gone. We actually had to resheathe the house and make it structurally sound by tying it on the inside, and then replace the windows. And I looked at the wood siding aspect of it. I wanted to restore it the best way possible. The cost was astronomical, and I had some family issues. I had to fly out of the country. It was just not possible for me to accommodate that kind of a price point. So I asked some siders. They said they could do vinyl siding, which would look very close or as best with the red house, which is an exact clone. And then the next issue was, how do we address the decorative trims? I had my carpenters come in, and we literally took everything apart and we rebuilt everything, because that was one of the most important features of the house. As I was removing the asbestos, not me, as the company removed it, they saw certain old wood marks, but what made sense to me was there was asbestos and it's historic. I wanted to maintain it just the way it was. So instead of putting the decorative pieces, I tried to match it with the black aluminum and match it with what was there with the asbestos, the flat look of it. That's the way I restored it, and nothing was done out of the ballpark. I tried to match it the best way possible. In fact, I was just there in the evening to take a picture between the two houses to compare it. I emailed it to her. Can you bring that up from the email, please?
So the last I checked, I have not received it. Let me just double check though.
Yeah, thank you so much. I tried to match as best as I could with the budget that I had. And then the next issue was with the vinyl siding, the windows. Each window was costing me $2,000, the wood thing. So I asked a couple of friends, contractors, they said, why don't you go to A1 Windows and ask them to give you like a strip that matches the historical look of it. I said, how's that possible? So they actually told me how it is done, only to be told that there was no permissions for the house. And again, that's my bad. But again, I relied on my contractor, and I was told that he had the information. And I found out after the house was sold. Well, it's not sold. It's tied under contract. The family is actually waiting for a decision from you guys. They love the house so much. They're like, when it was time for my final approval with the city, they said that you don't have any any permits. I went back to the contractor and I asked them, and till date, we still don't have that particular permission. So here I am. I just wanted to be open with you. In fact, I had neighbors coming up to me saying, I'm doing a great job. I thought I was, you know.
And so through the chair, I do not have any emails from you.
I don't mind sharing it.
This is just in comparison to the neighbor's house?
Yes.
Sure.
I mean, you can
So
just show.
yes.
You can just show
Yeah,
them.
yeah, we,
Yeah.
Please, you can zoom in. And I tried to match it the best way possible.
so, from the start with you having contact with Michelle was the right thing to do, but then the contact stopped. So what usually happens is when you pull a permit, you then get flagged to come before us, which is
Yes.
what she was saying to you. So the fact that you knew in the beginning to talk to her and then just kind of stopped talking to her and trusted the contractor, our purview doesn't cease to exist just because your contractor told you one thing. We do understand that the building was going to be demolished, but again, we are a commission for a reason.
Sure.
And, you know, it's not the first time we've had someone come in and be like, well, I did this and this and this, and it's like, it's great and we appreciate it. However, that doesn't negate the process that has to be done. And, you know, not for nothing, but you started work unpermitted, which really only, by doing so, you drew attention to yourself. And by drawing attention to yourself, when the old siding was removed, we then saw the footprint of the old lentils that used to be above the windows. And I know you were referencing doing the vinyl siding to match the neighbor. Well, we would also like you to match the neighbor by putting the lentils back. And we know that, and again, you bring up the problem of money, which we understand. But again, if you were to come before the commission, we do have an application where it is, you know, if you're under financial distress, but we weren't even given that opportunity to see your materials. We approve vinyl siding quite frequently, actually, but that's when people come to us, they show us all the information, they show the cost differentiation, but we didn't even get the chance to do that. So, you know, now we're here with a finished product. It does look great.
Thank you.
Really does look great. And there's certain things that I think we would be willing to compromise on, the decking. You know, we love that the porch is now open and exposed, but we would really like to see the 4 front-facing windows to be replaced with simulated divided lights, with the muttons on the exterior and interior, no snap-ins, and the lentils put back on the top.
So when I took, and thank you for the feedback, when I took the asbestos off, my first thought was to keep the asbestos on. A lot of people recommended keep it on. Screw with it, you know, don't even mess with it, let it be on. It's a historic house. If the city says something, take it out later. My point in doing the way I did over here was to match what was there. And there were no lentils, nothing was there. In fact, even the round decorative trim that you just saw, I actually had to custom order that to match what I found. Again, which was, again, within my means to do so. I looked at the lentil part of it. Nobody had it, and if they did, they were crazy priced. One piece was like $1,700 just for one window. Then when I went back to thinking, yes, this was a historic house, but then they let somebody put asbestos siding on top. Why did they do it?
So
It's off.
through the chair, I mean, the asbestos siding was done most likely in the 1950s, before there were any.
And that was, yeah.
Before there were.
Appropriate.
Well, before anybody, most people in this room were born, so there were no protections at the time that asbestos siding went on.
So what I'm trying to get to is, I restored it for the canvas that I saw. Yes, the contractor kept telling me that he has the papers and everything, and this was a project big enough where I didn't want anybody to mess up, big enough where I would lose a lot of money. So a lot of the stuff.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we could honestly fine you $300 a day since the work began, because it was never properly permitted.
Right.
So I think, you know, if you would have come here and followed procedure properly, we could have had all of these discussions, taken into consideration how much this would cost, how much. But again, once you start doing unpermitted work, you're bringing attention to yourself.
Sure.
And you used it in your defense of putting vinyl siding up because the neighbor has vinyl siding. Well, in our defense, the neighbor also has lentils over their windows.
Through the chair, the neighbor does not have vinyl siding.
No,
It's wood clout.
It's wood cut. Okay, so I thought that he did have vinyl because he had mentioned that before. Okay. And the house that you showed us to the right of this, the red house.
The red house, yeah.
They do have the lentils above the windows as well. Right. We're not asking for the whole house to be brand new windows. We're not asking for lentils to be the front facing that faces the street, the public view, which is typically what we do when it's a historic home anyway. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, I speaking for myself, but I'd like comments from the other commissioners. I mean, the vinyl siding does look great. Mm-hmm. The width of it looks like it could be clapboard. I mean, I don't have any issues with the decking, because you can't really see that from the public view. We greatly appreciate you paying attention to the decorative moldings, mm-hmm. but by doing that doesn't mean we're going to turn a blind eye to the other things. So we have to pay attention to the project as a whole. So I'd like feedback from the rest of the commissioners on this.
I mean, I think one thing is I had my house roofed by a roofer, right? And I made sure they had a permit. They said they had a permit? Okay, cool. I'm still going to look it up and make sure there's a permit there.
And it should be posted as well on the work site.
Yeah, correct. Like, you know, I double, triple check because I'm not going to be, you know, and this was before I was even on this commission, so it's before I really even knew much about anything in terms of permitting. Because, like, just because you say you have it, I'm the one who's going to have the issue, not you, unless I make it you have the issue, and that's a whole other, you know, situation. So I think that's, you know, I get you trusted him, but, you know, it's still, you still could have checked. It was an easy enough check to be able to look and make sure the permit was pulled. I mean, I also, like, yeah, the house looks better than it did, but vinyl siding still isn't appropriate. It's not, you know, and if you, like she said, if you come before us, we could talk about it, maybe would have agreed to vinyl siding anyway, but where it's been done and, you know, with no comments, no, you know.
No cost analysis for anything,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
I have rough numbers on what it would have cost me to do the.
But it's already done.
So through the chair, it's the commission does the cost analysis. So they determine whether or not what you are saying is your hardship is or not. So they look at your income. They look at, you know, are you on disability? Do you have other properties? Like, where is your money going to? And why can't you finance preservation? So it's not just a more or less expensive question.
Okay. So I do have other properties as well. But when I was doing this particular project, this was the only one that I had at that time. And this was the only focal point. One, given the fact that it was historic, I didn't know how to approach it. Now I do.
But I feel like you did because you reached out to Michelle from the very beginning and she told you that you needed to come before the commission, and knowing that you have other properties and have done work prior, it leads me to believe that you just kind of wanted to get the ball rolling and didn't want to wait for things to get put in place. I mean, that's my assumption, because if you knew to contact her in the beginning, why would you think that all of a sudden would just go away? Like, you never came before us, so something was missing in that piece.
Communication between me and the contractor was completely broken.
I think actually Michelle told you you had to come before the commission, and you made the decision to not come before the commission. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, because no permits were ever pulled, and once a permit is pulled, they get flagged to then come to us before they're granted a permit.
That's the miscommunication that I had. And even till date, she asked the contractor to upload a paper, and he still hasn't done it. So I'll be taking over that.
There still is an open permit, right? That's not even been approved for the roof?
Yeah, so through the chair, there are a couple of open permits. So the permit for the siding and the roof was pulled in February of 2025, and it was denied because of the fact that it's historic. The owner, I mean, I told you a million times, you have to go to the historical commission, and you chose not to, or you told Charlie to, and he didn't, but no matter what, it never got done. So the permit was pulled over a year ago. It's been in a rejected state ever since that time. The roof was done also without a permit. It still hasn't even been paid for. The roof was non-historic material. It's existing asphalt. So as long as the contractor can sign a compliance form, that is water under the bridge. It's asphalt to asphalt. Yeah, but
the roof we don't even care about.
yeah, but and so it's the windows and siding though that there still is no permit. So yeah.
So, may I? There were two things that kind of made me get away from not coming to the historic. One, I was dealing with some family issues. I had to keep flying out of the country several times, and that kind of took away from me getting the abutters list. I did it twice, and this is the time when I said, I just have to get it done.
And your contractor could come on your behalf to the commission.
Your lawyer
so you
as
wouldn't
well.
even have to be here.
Your lawyer or your contract, any of those people.
I found out
could
from a
have-
lawyer later, but I was not aware that the contractor could do as well. I didn't know that till later on.
I wouldn't work with this contractor again.
Oh, yes.
If he doesn't, because I mean, at the end of the day, he said, she said, you're the owner, so you're the one being held accountable for it.
Yeah, I mean, I have the house. They have already tied the house. I was going to have the closing on the 1st. This happened, and I'm actually paying them money towards their rate lock so that they can move into the house. They love the house. I mean, I paid a lot of attention to details, and
Yeah, and we appreciate, the details you did, but to be honest, this house was around before any of us were born, and it's going to be around before we all pass.
oh, well,
So
yes,
I would
that I
love,
can guarantee you.
I would love the legacy of this house for what it is, especially in today's day and age where everything's just getting torn and demolished and destroyed. This is why we exist as a commission. And, like I said before, my personal opinion is I am willing to, the decking, the vinyl siding. I'm willing to let that go, and the other windows. It's just the front facing where you have the beautiful decorative trim that you restored, reopened the porch. I just want to see more historically appropriate windows with the lentils. I think that's a pretty good compromise considering all of the other work that was done without any permit or permission or any feedback from us.
I think also the porch, the old, I don't know, I guess just the way the porch was before, I think
It was all closed up. And
so not even that, but like the bottom part, I don't know.
Yeah,
it was
so-
doors.
Those were doors.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. It looks
Yeah,
like doors.
Those were doors. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's much improved to
Yeah.
what it is now.
I tried to match it with the red house, and I even took the measurements. And so what we did was, if you go to the new photos, we actually painted. Nobody has black PVC that would go with the contour of the house. So we actually painted PVC, and we tried to match it with the next door house.
No, I love the porch. It looks great. It really does. I'm not trying to take away from the work that you did do. It's just in the manner in which the way the work was done and where we could have had really important feedback to where you could have made the right choice from the get-go instead of being here, having
Sure.
this
No, I
discussion after the
understand.
fact.
You might have presented, and you might have, if you had worked with Michelle a little bit more, been given some options that may have worked better with the next house, such as hardy board rather than the vinyl, because the vinyl is drastically different than the wood.
So I looked at the Hardy board as well. There was a company, James Hardy Becker or something. There's a company name. And I looked at the price, and it was almost 4 times more than the wood clap.
And
Again,
we could have,
No, but see,
There's a lesser price too, though. GAF also sells it. It's called Weather Side or something, and it looks exactly the same because I have it on my house and I replaced it with it. It's a exact match.
nice.
and sometimes we allow just the front face to be in that material so that we keep that historic look in the front.
because we know things aren't cheap. We know that, restoring an entire home is very expensive. But again, we're human too, but we take all of that into consideration, but we still have, our job to do. Because people were just coming through and tearing down and doing whatever they wanted to homes, and we've lost so many. So even though it might seem something little to you, it's actually a huge deal, especially on the front-facing, facade of a historic home.
So you're recommending I put the decorative lintel on top?
On top of the four
The
front-facing
four
windows, but also to switch out the 4 front-facing windows with the simulated divided lights with the muttons that are on the interior and exterior to match what it would have what it would have been and what we would have approved from the get-go. The rest of the home is fine, the side, the back, you can't see that from public view, but with the front having so many decorative features to it, by those elements not being there, especially in contrast to the house next to it, you're really doing a disservice by not doing that.
Do you have any resources that I can go by to get those kind of windows?
This is our research from day one.
Well, no, not
That's
money. You have to
that's
buy
what we
them,
do.
but I will explain which windows you need to buy.
But again, cost, it's got to make sense on the cost price point as well, because again, these windows are casing from the inside.
Yes.
The inside is all done.
So through the chair, your other option again is if it gets denied, your permits aren't going to get closed out for 12 months. So those are your options. They could fine you $300 a day for a year, which is around $109,000. They're making a compromise with you, saying only the 4 front-facing windows. So
I'm also looking at my pocket as well. Again,
Well,
I'm a
you-
family guy.
But it's either 4 new windows and lentils or $109,000 in fines.
Also,
So-
if your finances are that much, you need to fill out a financial hardship form and prove to us that that is true.
How do I go about doing that?
It's beyond the fact
beyond that
of
now?
that. It's beyond that.
yeah, so through the chair, financial hardship is something that you can do if you go through the normal process. At this point, it's already been done. Because obviously they're gonna look at the fact that you've already put the money that you did into the building, and they'll also look at other buildings that you own. They'll look at all your different streams of income. They'll look at, have you gone for historic tax credits? Have you tried selling the building? Have you tried doing other things so that the building can be preserved to what was originally there?
Coming to us again, you could have done the financial hardship, all of those things. I mean, we work with all different walks of life, people's different financial backgrounds, and we compromise more often than not, especially with our newer historic districts that are a little bit more eclectic than most, but we weren't given that opportunity. So now we're at this standstill of like, okay, you've already done the work, $300 a day for a year, or change out 4 windows. I mean, I know what choice I'd make, but I mean, it's not my house.
I have
my
a
pocket.
question, Michelle. If they were to demolish the house, would they still not have had to come in front of us?
So they had to come in front of us because federal money was being used, and that's why the house got saved. So this house came before this commission.
Was it for the asbestos removal?
No, it was for demolition of the building.
Okay.
And this commission required that archival photography and an inventory form be created to protect the building in the future.
Yeah.
So inspectional services said, okay, we'll try to find a buyer, and we get the building listed historic. So that's why it is historic now.
Okay. So when it was bought, it was known?
Yes.
Sounds like, okay.
Oh, yes, it was. Yeah.
Okay.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Is there any ways to keep the windows and I get those lintels again from your resources? If I can get, the decorative pieces on top, I don't mind. But do they make that in black as well? Because again, I have to also look at the buyers, the way the contracts are written.
Well, do the buyers know that it's a historic home and that any
They do,
work
they
that
do.
they have to come before us?
No, they do. And I told them that I'll be going to this hearing. That's on me, and I have to own it. They like the look of the house. I don't know if I have to disclose it to them as well.
Yeah.
That I'm going to be changing the lintel.
Yeah, and so
And
the
they want it
lintels.
black as well. So
Yeah.
So the lintels, you can probably get them in black, but they're going to have to be custom made, because you'll have to look at the ones that are next door and make sure that they're custom made to match the moldings.
Because they are twin buildings.
So I got a question about the material. Are the lentils on the red house wood?
Yeah.
So they would have to be wood. Okay. So they can't be PVC, made to look like
So that's up to the commission. I typically, on a house like this, if there were original lintels, what would be done if we weren't to this point is the original wood lintels would be preserved and J-channeled around with the siding, but that's a decision of this commission if you want to allow PVC or if you want to.
I have a question about the PVC though. So is it, when we say PVC, do we mean like the what's the name of
It's
it?
plastic.
It's cellular foam, basically.
It's
You can cut
plastic,
it
but
with-
it's I can't remember the name of it, but certain ones, like the ones I used on my house on some of the wood, and to replace wood with it, you can't paint it dark colors. It'll warp. You have to buy special
spray
paint.
it. PVC cannot be painted.
Yeah.
So
It
it's a
has to be
special
sprayed
spray.
on. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair here, with it already being vinyl sided, when the asbestos siding was taken off, the lentils weren't there. I personally have no issue with it being replaced with PVC for the longevity of the home to get the look. But again, I'm one person on this commission. I want to hear any feedback that you guys have.
Good.
with
I
that.
mean, I looked those things online. I just don't know about the dimensions of it. And to
Yeah.
answer your question about the G channel, to avoid any water seepage behind it, what I can do is on the black piece, the decorative piece that I have, that's metal.
Extended.
We actually folded the metal. I can actually put it on top of it and caulk around it and spray it to match it exactly to the window size.
So,
I could try again.
So also, if this is the route you're going to go down, don't buy any lintels until we look at them because they have to be custom matched to the ones next door. So if there's any little moldings or anything, those all you have to make sure that you replicate those.
Okay, I can build it too. It's just going to take me a long time, but I'm going to try to see if I can get a carpenter.
I mean,
to
I
build it
would
for me.
ask the neighbor to take a closer look, take
He
pictures.
doesn't like me walking to his
But,
property over and
well,
over.
ask permission, but this is where, going forward, we do it the right way. So like she said, don't go and buy or do anything without us saying like, yes, those are okay. Because we don't want you to go and spend more money on something that we're not gonna, get something custom made that you can't return, and then we say that's not gonna fit the bill. How do we feel about the four front-facing windows?
I think they should be replaced,
I think that's the minimum.
the minimum.
I think to be fair for the house next door, because they were buddies, we need to keep that status and return the windows to the original shape.
There are many sister houses in Worcester. There's one like a block away from me too, and those have, there aren't that many of them. And to keep the architectural integrity of them, because there are so few of them, that is of vital importance to the commission.
And
And that's something you take
yeah.
up when you purchase an old house,
A historic house.
an
Yeah.
historic house, yes.
And I mean, again, we're not saying change the windows in the whole house. We're just saying the front. The front.
Can I keep the same? Again, I'm asking a question. Can I keep the same windows because the look is the one with the thing in the middle, the 2/2?
So that's through the chair. That is, it might not be being communicated that well, but that's what they do not like. They don't want the grids between the glass. That is what removes the depth when you look at the window. That's what makes it immediately stand out as a vinyl window. That's what they're trying to avoid.
So this is going to be separate divisions with, and is
And
it
they can't be snap-in. They have to be the ones that are on the interior and exterior. It's like actually a part of the window and
off
not.
the window itself? Okay. Do they have to be wood or vinyl? So I know what to order. Because again, prices vary. We're talking about crazy numbers here. And it's not the price that I'm worried about, it's the time frame I'm worried about. Because
No, that's understood, but
They're 2/2 windows. I mean,
Yeah.
they're pretty standard sized. It's in the commission's, court for what they're going to approve. I will say, they've approved composite windows, which are a little bit cheaper than a true divided light wood window. So you can get like a composite simulated divided light with the muntins on the inside and outside, because those are paintable, whereas vinyl is not. And
so composite, it's not plastic though.
it's a polymer with wood and plastic, so it's a mix. So it looks a little bit more like wood than
Make it in white?
yes, but they're paintable. Composite is paintable.
yeah. And I mean, I'd be willing to compromise on a composite instead of wood just because you did save the decorative along the roof line. And I mean, that's what we're saying. We're here to work with people. We want to work with
No,
people.
thank you. I appreciate
But
that.
we still have to uphold certain
Okay.
Thanks.
Standards.
Yeah.
And utilize Michelle as a resource, you know, if you have any questions.
I learned later on,
know,
yes. I
And
did.
even
You can run everything
Oh,
by her.
through the chair. Yeah, I've been trying, not later on, I've been trying to help you since you bought the house.
If the miscommunication didn't exist, I would have done this from the get. You know,
well, let's just use this
thinking
as
about
a
what Vanessa
learning
said,
curve
it's the
here.
landlord or the owner that is looking at it from the rear view, and obviously,
Mm-hmm.
I should have paid more attention to the contract.
Absolutely, because your contractor, I mean, if we were any other commission that, you know, was having a bad day, we could just say, nope, we're gonna fine you for a year. But we don't wanna do that because we do appreciate people buying historic homes and doing their best. So we wanna work with the community, but again, we have to uphold certain standards. So how does the commission feel about the 4 windows in the front being replaced with composite and with the custom-made lentils to go on top?
Now, if there's a way that I cannot put the lentils on top, is that a no-go or a go? Because
But
the
why
way
would
we
there
bend the
not
metal,
be a
right?
way?
I don't know if I have.
Oh, you guys just go here? Sorry, excuse me. All right, awesome, thanks.
I think we really want it.
Yeah.
We're bending on a lot.
What was that? I'm sorry.
We're bending.
Yeah, we're
No, I know
bending
you
a
are.
lot.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm asking because
The lentils are a no compromise.
I'm at a point where I figured you're not going to do the lentils, you'll just get a fine. Like, I feel like we've compromised so much.
No, I'm asking you
Technically,
because-
we could have had a roof done, we could have had siding, all the
The
windows,
decking, everything.
the roof, like the porch.
I mean, I
it's-
redid the whole house.
I know, well,
understand.
that's
I-
exactly
and it was all
it.
wrong. It was all not supposed to be done.
Exactly.
What I'm asking is because the way we bent the metal, it has a 45. It has a decorative piece to it.
But if you're changing out the window, you would have the capability to add a lentil.
I would have
Anyway.
to put PVC or wood and paint it. That metal's gonna go. I can't save it.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole
Well,
point.
can you work with Michelle and provide suggestions to her, and she can tell you whether you're on the right track or not?
Sure. The other
Okay.
question I have for you is how does this relate to the person who's buying the house? Because again, they're renting a house right now, and I'm trying to see if they can move in as fast because they have kids. And
Well, I mean,
Can-
that's
can you-
between you and
Yeah,
them.
I mean, rent it to them? I don't know.
so in order for, I'm gonna do these 4. I'll get the lentil. I'll work with Michelle. But is there any way for me to get the occupancy for them to move in? Because again, my lawyers can handle the rest of it.
I don't
But
think
they're
so
gonna be
because
out
the
of house.
permits won't be closed out until
Oh,
the work is finished.
That is true. That is
Can you
true.
give me the time frame on how it works? Again, I'm new to this
It really
process.
comes down to how quickly you can get it done. Because we have a meeting every 2 weeks and we can fit you in. It's just a matter of how fast can you get it done.
So let's say if I do the work in about 3-4 weeks, whenever the windows arrive, I get the lentils in. What do I need to do? Document it and come to a hearing again, or
and
do I
work
just
with
need to
her.
give it to her?
You don't have to come to a hearing again. The commission's going to vote tonight on what they're going to approve, and then I'm going to inspect it.
To make sure that
perfect.
you do
Yeah.
what you said you're
Yeah.
gonna do.
Okay.
Because
no,
all
because I
eyes
have to
are on
answer
you
those
now.
people.
Understood,
It-
yeah.
Yeah,
I
no,
am
we
taking
understand.
responsibility of this. I just want you to understand that.
Yeah,
I want to be able to give them an answer today.
Yeah.
Because the lawyers are waiting for me to give them an answer because it's
Yeah.
a decision. They're buying
I
a
work
house
in
or
real estate,
rent.
so I understand how it all
You know?
works. But I just want you to convey to them,
Yeah.
as the purchasers of this home, that just because you came before us, you're now handing it over to them. So if they do any work on the exterior, now it's their job to come before us.
Oh, I
So
will
just
make sure
because
they
you're
do.
doing this
Yeah.
doesn't mean that they're scot-free going down. No, any work done to the exterior has to be
Sure.
permitted, and then we'll get flagged in the same process. So
Perfect.
just make sure you convey that to them.
And if we grant an approval, it's contingent upon this work being,
Doing what you say you're
So,
doing.
so through the chair, typically we give a cure date. So we can give a cure date of 4 weeks if you want, and then if
But the windows are going to be available. That's my.
we'll
only
give you
concern.
we'll give you a cure date of 90 days. Then you got to get it done within 90 days.
Get it done sooner if they are
Yes.
available.
Yeah, and once it's done and inspected, we'll release the permit.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
They need to vote. Well, first they need to open up for public comment, and then they need to actually take a vote on it.
So does anybody have any more comments before we open for public comment?
And this is to replace the windows
To
with the
replace-
composite and to add
Lentil.
lintels.
And and everything else. Everything else still needs to be approved.
Yeah, everything else that's already been done would be approved, but not just to replace with composite windows, but they have to be the simulated divided lights with the Muntins interior, exterior, not snap-in. So this will all be in the motion that, you know, you'll be given, but are there any comments from any of us?
And there are 4 lintels on the front, on the house next door. So they're on each of the windows. Just for the motion, but so finish your discussion and then open for public comment.
Okay. I'm going to open for public comment.
If anyone's joined online, I see a couple of people. You can use the raise hand feature in Zoom if you would like to speak. I'm not seeing anybody.
Okay, can I have a motion to close public comment?
I shall make a motion to close public comment.
Second.
And on that motion, Commissioner Burnett,
Yes.
Commissioner Gutierrez Levodi,
Yes.
Commissioner Santos Restivo,
Yes.
Commissioner Andre,
Yes.
and Chair Holnarski.
Yes. Okay, so now I am going to need a motion for a building demolition delay waiver to retroactively approve the siding, the porch, the roofing, work to wood trim and elements. However,
With the exception of the 4 front-facing windows that must be replaced with simulated divided light, i.e. Muntin windows, with 4 lintels on all 4 windows, noting that these windows must not be the, quote, snap-in, unquote, variety. These would not be detrimental to the historical or architectural resources of the city of Worcester.
Second.
And just one question on that. Can you just clarify the material of the windows to be installed?
Composite, the windows to be installed must be of a composite variety.
Can I get another second?
Second.
And on that motion, Commissioner Burnett,
Yes.
Commissioner Gutierrez Levodi,
Yes.
Commissioner Santos Restivo,
Yes?
Commissioner Andre,
Yes.
Chair Holnarski.
yes.
Okay.
I'll try to get the wood ones. I know Pella is the only company that has that. They quoted me on it. I'll try if they're
If you
fastest.
can, great, but
I'll
if
paint
not,
it,
you're
but
approved
again,
for
I'm-
composite.
With her,
I'm gonna-
with her.
Yeah, she is our resource. Preservation Worcester is another community resource, but that is why Michelle, before anybody even gets to us, Michelle is the person that gives everybody the direction that they need. So,
Should you wish to purchase another historic home,
I actually mentioned her when I walked away from it.
so going for, and again, tell the new owners
Yes.
to follow procedure because we don't want to see this again. In the nicest way possible,
It's
yes.
a mess. So we don't want to see this again.
Yeah.
no.
You're all set.
So you're all set.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Good
Thank you
luck.
for looking at it, and thank you for liking my work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It took a lot.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Thank
You as well. So other business, we do not have any policies and procedures to discuss. We have an invitation from the Worcester Housing and Neighborhood Development Division to comment on HUD-funded projects at 1011 Pleasant Street and 75 Shore Drive. Typically, we do not give comment on either of these, and Michelle told me yesterday that we no longer have to vote on not taking a comment on these, correct?
Yeah, we don't have to.
Perfect. We also do not have any approval of minutes this evening. Is there anything else, Michelle, before we adjourn?
Nope. Oh, one other thing, which you will notice if you look at the schedule, we're not voting, and we're not meeting again for about a month. So we'll see everybody again on April 16th.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. All right. Adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
So
Say aye.
So moved. Aye. 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 Aye.